We use metaphors all the time. We may not think that, but we really do. We talk about recharging. We call somebody a wet blanket. That's a metaphor, right? We use metaphors all the time to describe ourselves, our relationships, the world we live in. And I also think that those metaphors we use shape how we live. And so an example of that would be, which I'm sure we'll get more into, but if you describe yourself as a machine, right? If you say, I need to recharge or adjust, or if you describe yourself as updating, all of that is kind of using your language to imagine yourself as a computer. And if you imagine yourself as a computer, you'll kind of expect the same sorts of things from yourself that you would expect of a computer. And that shapes how you live. And it also shapes how you think about productivity, how you think about flourishing. And even those two different words, productivity and flourishing, both kind of have metaphorical imaginations connected to them, right? Productivity, we can think of an assembly line of things being produced quickly and efficiently and in the same way, whereas flourishing, we think more of something like a garden or a tree. And so the metaphors that we use, I want to convince people, shape what expectations we have and how we live. And so with the book, my goal was, first of all, to make people aware of the metaphors they were using, to kind of wake up to the funny ways in which we use metaphors all the time. One of the ones I've been thinking about lately is people talk about their battle with mental health. And I was thinking, what an interesting metaphor that is, because that kind of almost begins to picture yourself at enmity with your mind. And we know from a lot of research on mental health, that's not really a fruitful way to think about yourself. That wouldn't actually contribute to flourishing or gaining better mental health. So I wanted to make people aware of the metaphors they were using, and then to kind of resource them with thoughtful and intentional different metaphors that they could use to approach life. And in doing that, I kind of drew mainly on metaphors from scripture, from the Hebrew Bible, and from the New Testament, and from poetry and art. And I think all those things can help kind of give us a new arsenal. There's another metaphor for you, arsenal of metaphors for living life. So that's a rambly answer to your question, but I want people to know that metaphors are important. I want them to be aware of the metaphors they're using and to have a rich resource